Okay, picture this. The alarm bells are going off. Not the fire alarm, but something deep inside your network. You're under a cyber attack. Right now. Your data, your business, your reputation, it's all on the line. What you do in the next few minutes, the next few hours, is absolutely critical. Today, we're diving into the playbook for that exact moment, cyber incident response.
So let's just put ourselves right there in that moment. A hacker is inside your digital walls. The pressure is on. What do? Do you yank the server offline and shut down your whole business? Do you tell everyone and risk total panic? The decisions you make right now, well, they're going to define everything that happens next.
And this, right here, is the biggest mindset shift in modern security. It's not about building some kind of impenetrable digital fortress anymore. That's just not realistic. The threats are too constant, too sophisticated. And thinking you're too small or unimportant to be a target, that's a huge mistake. The real game is being ready for the inevitable.
So how do you deal with something that's bound to happen without just descending into total chaos? You need a plan. And that's exactly what incident response, or IR, is all about. It's about replacing that panicked gut reaction with a formal, structured process. It's the playbook that brings order to the chaos, stops the bleeding, and gets you back up and running as safely and quickly as possible.
Which brings us right to our first, and you could argue most important section. The absolute best way to handle a crisis is to plan for it long before it ever kicks off. This is the preparation phase. You know, this quote just nails it. You don't start building a fire station when the city's already on fire, right? No! You build it, you staff it, and you run drills when everything is calm and quiet. That is the core idea here. The hard work you put in during peacetime is what's going to determine your success when that crisis finally hits.
The roadmap we're going to follow today comes from the National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST. This is pretty much the gold standard framework that organizations use all over the world. We're going to walk through these 6 key steps: preparation, identification, containment, eradication, recovery, and finally, lessons learned. So what does preparation actually look like? Well, it's about setting up your defenses before the first punch is thrown. You write the playbook. That's your IR plan. You assemble your crew, your designated first responders. You install the alarm systems, your fancy monitoring tools. You train your people. And maybe, just maybe the most important thing, you make sure you have clean, secure backups ready to go. Because that, my friends, is your ultimate safety net.
Okay, the plan's in place, everyone's trained, but now it's happening. The alarm bells are ringing for real. An alert goes off. This is where the active response kicks into high gear, moving us into the identification and containment phases. Now, if you look at this chart, you'll see the problem isn't just one thing. An incident could be a nasty piece of malware, or it could be a simple, sneaky email that one of your employees just happened to click. That's the challenge of the identification phase. The security team has to figure out super quickly, not just if an alert is real, but what kind of fire they're fighting. Because trust me, the response for malware is way different than the response for a major data breach.
Once you know what you're dealing with, the priority shifts immediately. The goal is simple, it's urgent, and it's this: stop the bleeding. You have to prevent that attacker from digging deeper into your network, grabbing more data, or just causing more chaos.
And this happens on 2 fronts. The short-term fix is kind of like applying a tourniquet. You might just unplug a compromised laptop or server from the network completely to stop the immediate threat right in its tracks. The long-term strategy is more about cutting off all the attacker's escape routes, patching the vulnerability they snuck through, blocking their IP address, and locking down any accounts they might have stolen.
All right, with the incident contained, it's time to go on the offensive. This is the climax of the story, really. This is where you actively kick the threat out and start to rebuild. We're now in the eradication and recovery phase.
To fight back effectively, you've got to think like the attacker. And security teams use models like this, the kill chain, to do just that. It basically maps out an attacker's entire game plan, from the initial recon where they're scouting a target, to delivery when they send that phishing email, all the way to their final objective. If you understand their playbook, you can figure out where to break the chain and totally disrupt their attack.
Now, it's really important to get this. Eradication and recovery are 2 totally separate jobs. Eradication is all about kicking the attacker out and bolting the door behind them. You're deleting their malware, removing their access, and patching the hole they came through. Only after that's done can you even start to think about recovery, that careful, methodical process of restoring clean data from your backups and bringing systems back online one by one.
Now, responders aren't going into this fight with their bare hands. They have a really sophisticated toolkit. For detection, they're using tools like CIEMs, that stands for Security Information and Event Management, which are basically gathering security logs from all over the network. For analysis, they use forensic tools to dig in and understand what happened. And for the actual response, they might use something called a SOAR platform, that's Security Orchestration, Automation, and Response, which helps automate the whole process of blocking an attacker, making the entire defense way faster and more efficient.
The systems are back online. The threat is gone. You'd think the job's over, right? Not even close. In many ways, the most important part is just getting started. Let's move to our final section, lessons learned. This says it all, doesn't it? Getting back to normal isn't good enough. Why? Because normal is what got you hacked in the first place. The real goal here is to build resilience, to come back from this stronger, smarter, and way more prepared than you were before. The incident, as painful as it was, is actually an incredible learning opportunity. So this final phase is all about a formal, no-blame review of the whole thing. The team gets together in a room and documents exactly what happened step by step. Where did our defenses fail? How could we have responded faster? The answers to those questions are then fed right back into the system. You update the plan, you improve your tools, you train the team, and you make the whole organization that much tougher for next time.
So we end on this thought. Every single cyber attack, it leaves a gift behind, a perfect blueprint of the attacker's methods, and a brutal, honest report card on your defenses. The organizations that truly succeed, the ones that thrive, are the ones that study that blueprint like their life depends on it. They learn from their failures, and they never stop adapting. So the only real question left is, are you listening?